5:30, call to order the meeting of the Water Sewer Commission, and Commissioner Bishop is absent today, so it's just going to be myself, Jim Jardin, and Steve Bernstein in attendance. So could I ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. First order of business, I'd like to go ahead and welcome Justin Chica, our new DPW director, to the fold. Thank you for attending our meeting, and welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
And, you know, if you want to say anything, you just...
No, excited to be here, excited to hit the ground running. I have a extensive background in water and wastewater, and I look forward to serving the town.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. So moving along. We don't have any minutes, Brooke, right? All right, I'm going to skip right over that one. And is there anything anybody needs us to take out of order here? Or can we just go down the list? Anybody have to leave early or anything? All right, we'll just go down the list. Old business, 260 South Washington Street. Continued discussion. What do we have here for that?
I don't know if we have it, anybody, a resident might have came for 260 South Washington?
That's not one of the bill disputes that we had, right?
No, this was the one that the town manager actually had a call into town council regarding the easement, so we were just waiting on.
Oh, I'm on Mansfield Ave. I called up about
Okay.
easement. I don't know if that's your...
Yeah, I was thinking of you, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm Ellen McGrath. I don't know.
Okay, so that's 0 Mansfield Avenue?
That's
Yeah, so the
Oh, okay.
260, we just wanted to keep on the agenda, just.
Okay, so there's nothing pressing to discuss with that right now. Okay, so 0 Mansfield Ave, continued discussion. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Ellen McGrath on 29 Mansfield Ave.
Okay, welcome, Ellen.
So, sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Gould, town manager.
Hi, Mark. I haven't met you before.
Nice to meet you.
Jim Jardin, one of the commissioners. I think you've met Steve.
Cool. So I did speak with the lawyer, and we are waiting for some guidance on 260 South Washington, on the easement, what was recorded, what should have been recorded, and as soon as I hear back from council, we'll deal, we'll give an update on that.
Okay.
I reached out to them yesterday, I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay, awesome. That was the easement for 260 South Washington,
Right.
right? Okay.
Right, it was a water easement, I believe.
Yep.
Yep.
Along the property line. That along the property line. Okay, so we'll wait to hear more on that. 0 Mansfield Ave, then, what are we?
Before we go on to that, we're all aware of the fact that we will allow the contractor to proceed. You have background in this?
On 0 or 260?
On 260 South Washington Street.
We're allowing them to proceed. Well, yeah, I think they should build what they need to
Right,
build
right.
there.
Okay, as long as you're aware of that story, okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to, are they going around the line where the line is, or are they moving it? Has that been determined yet?
No, they're building it around it at this moment in time. And we're contemplating changing.
So they're proceeding with everything except that one section,
And
basically.
they have sufficient square footage to do what they need to do? I
Correct.
thought the line was kind of in the way, no?
That's the definition I got, was that they're not going to be able to support the line, or there's questions on supporting the existing line for where they're building.
Okay.
So I'm surprised to hear that they're going to go ahead and build, I guess is my point, until...
Yeah.
Oh, they were gonna use special foundations and special support of the pipeline,
So do we even need to address it then?
but we want to explore it in the future to look at the alternatives, in the event that we want to do that. That's the way we were agreed to go to it. A little complicated, a little unusual.
Okay. What do we have on 0 Mansfield Ave?
So is this the peer review? Do you want to get into the discussion of the
Yeah.
peer review right now? That'll probably be the longest discussion tonight, so.
Yeah, we might as well, if we're taking things in order.
Okay.
Sure.
So Steve Peterson with Weston Sampson Engineers. So the town had asked us to, or the water and sewer had asked us to look at the current plans. I'm gonna just try and talk from my notes. If we want to put the plans out, we can, but I think we'll go quicker.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
As long as everybody understands where we are in space. So, Just a little quick history on this. So this peer review, or this project has evolved over the last couple of years. We originally did a peer review back in March of 2024. Actually, with our original peer review, that's when Level Design Group was the engineer for PICER for this project. And again, so Zero Mansfield Ave is a project on Mansfield Ave at the corner of Reservoir, just to make sure everybody's familiar with what we're talking about. So the original design that came through back then was for the developer to run a gravity sewer all the way down Mansfield Ave to Route 123. And their original directive was to build something that was consistent with the comp plan. The town's comprehensive wastewater management plan called for ultimately gravity sewers from where the more recent West Main Street project left off. There's a manhole that, so there's sewer in Route 123, and then there's a manhole run that comes off of 123 onto Mansfield Ave. So there's a manhole run. The biggest thing we ran into would be, once the engineer for the developer put the plans together, the developer put a cost to that and determined, from their perspective, it was, the project wasn't going to be built. Well, the cost became an issue in terms of them having to run sewer over that length. So part of the original peer review was some value engineering to see what we could do with minimizing the costs. It evolved over time. I don't know all the back and forth with the planning board, but I think the scope of the project changed. I believe their units were reduced a little, so their
And the number of buildings.
their revenues that they were going to see from the project came down some more. So it evolved to the point where they've come in with an alternative sewer design that is a pressure sewer. So it's a low pressure sewer, and in discussions with the commission, one of the biggest things from the commission's standpoint was that it's still, whatever they build, still provide the ability for residents' properties along the way to tie in if they need to or choose to. So the biggest things about that were making sure there were connections along all of it. So the current plan is a low-pressure sewer design. When we look at that versus the gravity sewer, just from a quick budgeting perspective, it's probably about $1 million less to build the low-pressure sewer based on a lot of variables. They're building, the pipe material is significantly less, going from an 8-inch, or is less, going from an 8-inch pipe to what they're calling for is 4-inch. The excavations are shallower. They don't have to meet line and grade, so production is going to be, should be significantly increased with easier construction. One of the biggest concerns the developer had was his knowledge of that area, our knowledge of that area, and the potential for ledge as well as high groundwater was really going to drive the cost, being out in the middle of the state highway with a gravity sewer. So his proposal, by being shallower, they're going to mitigate a significant amount of that. They want to be in the shoulder, which reduces, their cost to repave later, but also the disruption, police details and all of that. So these are just all the areas where it is going to save costs the way it's proposed. It's all about cost and just the overall increased productivity. So the project as proposed is 2 36-unit, 3-story apartment buildings. It's 108 bedrooms, so each of the units has 36 one-bedroom, or it's a total of 36 one-bedroom and 36 two-bedroom units between the two buildings. So as far as the, based on that and looking at Title V and estimated average daily flows, the capacity of the receiving sewer is not an issue down at 123. It was built, designed, and constructed with these future connections in mind from a capacity standpoint.
So the capacity takes into account if every single person
Our
on that
capacity
line were to connect up.
in the sewer that's already in the ground
Right.
is prepared to handle that area.
Okay.
And another thing important to note about this area is there's not much future, as far as the comp plan, this doesn't go much further than this. The plan was to bring, ultimately to finish sewing around the reservoir, so we would be bringing a piece. Half of Reservoir Street would flow down to Mansfield Ave, and then down to the sewer
Okay.
123. The other half of Reservoir Ave is scheduled to flow towards Elm Street and ultimately over to the existing system in the Grove area. And then there's only one side street along the way with limited homes on it. So there's not a lot of, it's not like this was gonna be an interceptor sewer for a bunch of future areas to connect into down the road. It was very limited to this area. So one thing that we went into in our, as far as sizing of the pressure sewer, we've made a few comments that we've asked the developer to just get back to us, or the engineer for the developer, to get back to us in terms of, how the line was sized. I'm sure they've engaged a grinder pump manufacturer. They're using E1 pumps, so I'm sure they have a design that justifies the sizing. So we just want to make sure. They're calling for a 4-inch, and that should be right, but we've made some comments on the plans about the future stubs and stuff. One of the biggest things is that this still, regardless of it going to a low pressure sewer, it's still downhill, right? So the sewer in the street, the grade of the road is still coming downhill. So even with the pumps, and the homeowners, properties along the way are still gonna need a pump to get into the sewer, but once it gets into the sewer, it's basically gonna flow downhill. It is gonna flow downhill. So it's gonna act like a gravity sewer. But again, with the need to pump into it. One of the biggest things is making sure there's service connections everywhere along the way. We think you just need to make sure you get a statement from them that when they build it, they will extend service
I read
connections for
that, that some
everyone.
of them don't show it.
Yeah, they've shown connections. I think they've got most of the properties, but trying to match up the assessor's maps against it,
Yeah.
I couldn't confirm they had all the properties. There's also, their design is shown to sewer all, the way they showed it is they're gonna just sewer their 2 buildings on the property and then come out into the right-of-way and run down the road. And from talking to Frank before, in the sewer, your sewer regs, what we're proposing that you ask them to do is to run the sewer all the way along the front of their property. So that a future step, you basically want to make sure that the infrastructure they put in runs all the way along
To the
their property.
End of their property,
Because you
right?
don't want to in the future come in and dig up the front of their property again, where they're already putting sidewalks in and everything.
Yeah.
So that's one of the comments on the plans, is that they should extend it a couple hundred more feet than what they've shown out in the right of way, which is still in the shoulder, but just to make sure everyone's picked up. And by doing that, there's some more properties across Mansfield Ave that they're gonna need to run stubs to.
Right.
So again, everybody that gets fronted. And one of the biggest things they're doing to, again, from a cost standpoint, they're proposing at the property lines to run it 1 trench across with 2 pipes in it, one
Yeah, I
for each
remember
property.
the plans.
So it would be at the corner of the property, which,
Doesn't exactly put it in the optimal
it's
spot for some
not
people.
necessarily, so it doesn't go to the homeowner and say, where would you like this left? It says, here's where it'll be.
They would still be able to get to it, they would
They-
just have to run a lateral to wherever they need to go,
Yeah,
right?
and because they're gonna have a pump, it's less of an issue, they can get it to anywhere.
Right.
It's just they might have to come across their front yard to get to it. And the reason behind that, again, it comes down to cost, and with the, when you do the lateral trenches across the state highway, if you have one every 50 feet, the state is likely to come back and say, you can't just patch the trenches, you're gonna have to do the whole road. So they're
Right,
trying not
right.
to
Right,
have too many laterals. If they minimize the number of
In theory, it
laterals, they'll
cuts
let
it
them
in
just
half,
patch, they'll let
kind
them
of.
just patch the trenches, infrared it or whatever, and blend it in. It all comes down to how many times they cut across the road. So,
Right.
and obviously it saves them money to, if they cut their trenches across the state highway in half, it saves money. But it
There's
still
also-
works, the
there's
homeowners
also
wouldn't be able to
wouldn't
get into it.
but there also wouldn't be a mandate for the homes, right? Because it's
That
privately
is correct.
funded.
My understanding is, yeah.
So if
under-
if the homeowner decided that their cost was too high to put this pump, they could put a new septic in if they wanted to, if that was cheaper for some reason.
I don't know how
I don't know what the
far,
cost would be.
that might get a little dicey. I think if their system fails, they might
Oh,
not
okay.
have the option. They might,
Okay.
as opposed to replacing their
Right,
septic,
right.
I think they then would have to tie in.
Okay,
The difference between what we run into with the other projects, specifically most recently Elm Street, is, we weren't gonna build it unless everybody was gonna tie in, because that's how you pay for these things. So in this instance, the stubs would be there, but homeowners would not be required to tie in. It would be there if they get to the situation, either they wanna tie in, or they get to the situation where they need to. It would provide a convenience at that point. And then they would have to pay the connection fee and pay for someone to connect them to the stub that's at their property line, including getting a pump and connecting. The other thing that we've commented in their submittal is the depth of cover. They're trying to be as shallow as possible. We're trying to still hold them to 4.5 feet of cover, if at all possible, both from a loading perspective, and then frost, trying to be below the frost line.
What's the difference between the height between the pressure main and the gravity main? If they do pressure, they can stay shallower, you said?
They're shallow, it's a tighter trench and they can be shallower because they don't have to follow a strict line and grade, so through the bumps of the road, but gravity sewers are typically like 8 feet deep in the road, because then you want to get all the laterals underneath all the utilities, and you have to maintain a pitch with the gravity line. So again, with the pressure line being shallower, you might have some utility conflicts when you're coming across, but they can bend under and
contour with the
around,
road
they
and
can
go up and down.
contour to avoid the utilities. So that's, any answers the question?
Thank you.
Steve, one thing I remember reading here, the gravity portion of this that becomes a gravity, there's no manhole or anything, it's just in there as a 4-inch gravity kind of line.
So it's still a pressure sewer. It's still
So there'd be no
considered-
reason to
built
have a
as
manhole,
Pressure
right?
sewer,
On
yeah.
that would be normal?
Yeah. So there's manholes at the intersections, right? So we need them to leave a stub. So where they start in front of the property, we want a stub up Mansfield Ave towards the bridge at the reservoir there, towards the causeway there. And then we also need one at Reservoir, and then we need one, at Pit Clark Road.
Okay.
And we've made suggestions on the sizing of those based on house counts. The other thing to be aware of too is, I think these sizes will work fine for the houses that are there. It's all residential, predominantly residential. With a pressure sewer versus a gravity sewer, it does not give you capacity. If like across the street, someone else tries to build the same thing, it might be an issue with the capacity of that sewer. Gravity sewer would have more capacity, and pressure sewer wouldn't be able to accommodate larger developments. It's being sized for the residential homes that are there.
Is there anywhere else along that stretch that could possibly be another big development?
And I had talked to Paul, town planner, about that, and there's not much left.
It really isn't, right?
Yeah. So, should be fine, but it's just something to be aware of. It
Not
doesn't-
much, or there's nothing?
There's, everything, there's always something could get developed, yeah.
There's a couple commercial zoned properties too.
Yes. There's businesses there, but the flows are still, they're not high water users. And there is still some ability for a little more flow in the future, but it's if you had an 8-inch gravity, you'd have a lot of capacity to work with. You don't with a 2 or 3 or 4-inch pressure
Right.
sewer. So that's kind of the issues that you need to be aware of. The other, and we talked about the utility crossing, so the other comment we made is it's great that they're nice and shallow now, but they're required to maintain 18 inches of clearance under a water main or a water service when they cross it. If they can't either maintain 18 inches under it, or if they have to come over it, then they have to sleeve the sewer pipe 10 feet total, centered on the crossing itself,
Okay.
which is going to be an issue here. As shallow as they're trying to be, they're constantly going to be right up against the
we'll have to do that in
utilities, they're
several
trying to go
spots
over them or under them. And I will say, it sounds great, being in the shoulder will be great until they get out there and start digging, they're in people's, what people consider their front yards, right? The driveways,
Right.
it's still the state road, but the driveways, the mailboxes, the plantings, there's a high-pressure gas main on that side that's based on the lines on a paper they've got clearance from, but that, that moves around until you get into construction. You don't know for sure how well that's gonna go, but it should work, but it's, sometimes, it's great to be shallow, but, it's also, when you're in the middle of the road, you don't have all those other things to do.
Yeah.
You just have other little obstructions to do.
So have you shared this memo with,
I have not.
okay.
I provided it to you guys, and the intent was to forward it with your approval.
Did you have conversations with the engineer while you were doing this? Not really.
Yeah, so we had a meeting, so Frank and Chris and I had a conference call with them before I dug into the review and we talked about some of these things. But so they're aware. And they were with the planning board, I think last Monday. It's down to planning board's waiting for Concom and water and sewer to, I guess, sign off on it, basically. So with this memo, I think it would be an approval with the comments, addressing the comments. And the biggest things being making sure that stubs are left for everybody. I think is the biggest comment.
Okay, so are we looking to vote on this tonight? On something,
I
or
think
we
you're
just
looking to
wait
authorize us to send the memo.
We're not
to forward
approving
the
anything,
memo.
because we only approved
Right,
final
right.
plans, but we could approve the
The peer
memo.
review. You're approving
which
the peer review.
Basically have them revise the plans and resubmit them to us, assuming the concept is agreeable to
Okay.
us.
Well, what do you think? It's agreeable with me?
I agree also.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum. What do we make, a motion is to approve to forward?
The peer review memorandum. I'll actually, there's a couple of things that I've tweaked in it in terms of typos and whatnot, so it'll be dated tomorrow. I'll send it to them tomorrow. So I sent you your memo, and I'm gonna
Okay.
send it to them.
I have a couple of
if you approve
questions.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
before we
can
do that,
vote.
actually, if we have more discussion on, we should.
I'll second your
just,
memo, your motion, and then we can have discussion.
So motion to
Okay.
release the peer review.
I motion to release the peer review for 0 Mansfield Ave.
And I second.
All in favor?
No, now you can have some discussion.
Right, okay, well, let's have some discussion. We had
Ellen McGrath,
Ellen McGrath,
29 Mansfield Ave.
29 Mansfield Ave.
I live right across from Pit Clock Road, and there's a
Okay.
drain to the left of my driveway and an easement that the water goes into the woods and into a river out in the woods. And I asked the the developer at the planning board meeting, are they gonna tie into that drain? And they said no. Then I was wondering how you're gonna circumvent it and where you're gonna do most of the construction. I was wondering if it's gonna be on my side of the road, 29, or on the side where Pit Clock Road. Where would you be doing the digging?
It's opposite of Pit Clock Road.
So it'd be
So
right
your
in front of my
side
yard?
Yeah, on your side of the road is where it's proposed.
Okay,
And they will not, the drain, they'll just have to maintain it the way it is. That's stormwater, so
That's
that cannot
correct.
be connected to the
Okay.
sewer in any way. There wouldn't be any connection between the two systems.
okay.
Any more discussion? Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to release the memo, that's fine. I just think that the master plan, and I haven't dove into it to the level I would have liked, but I'd be more comfortable with the gravity, even if that means, more negotiations and maybe give and take with the developer. So maybe we, if you want to approve it, sure. Maybe we continue to talk to them and look into if anything can be done. Just because the cost to the homeowner might be about the same to, have a septic or to tie in. I don't understand how the lines tie in, how you'd even tie into a force main, but I guess you're saying it's possible, so it must be. But
So each
So they
person
need-
that ties in would need a pump.
Right.
Each house would need their own pump.
yeah, just from my lay perspective, just as a matter of, I'd like to stick with our our plan for it rather than saving the developer a few bucks. I understand there's a break-even point and we want to encourage development. I just want to make sure we explore all options, that's all.
Yeah. I don't think it precludes you from continuing the discussion. There are ways away, I think, from putting a pipe in the ground.
Okay, but eventually they're gonna come here with a set of plans for us to approve.
Yeah.
So a gravity force main sounds unusual, but it's done a lot. And pumping into a force main, although it sounds unusual, is done, you know, it's a convention system. Not part of a master plan, but as I said, this project has been on the planning board docket for a long time. And originally, as Steve mentioned, you know, they were proposing 3 buildings, I believe. It was a much larger project, and at the time it made sense.
And I want to make sure that we cover the distance from the end of this developer to the bridge there, like.
Right,
like-
that's
yeah.
part of that project, is to extend the line to the end of their property.
Because I think on the bridge, the other side of the bridge, would be, what would the master plan call for there, gravity or
Goes to
force?
Freeman. That's where Freeman Street comes out, right? And so those future, so that area is gonna come down Freeman Street to
The other way.
the other way. So it's not gonna come through here. through
So
what
that
we're
is the
talking
end of
about.
the line, the bridge.
Yeah, we get to the bridge, that's the end of this drainage bay, that's the end of this service area, yeah.
So it ends at Pro's Barn-ish.
And to be clear, so they would bring it as far as the edge of their property with a stub if the town wants to extend it the last 700 feet or whatever it is to where the bridge is. They're not going all the way to the bridge, they're not going beyond their property.
And that could still be
They're
done.
going
even though
from their
there's gonna be
property
low pressure.
to the municipal, to the municipal sewer and anything along the way.
Would it be, I know this is a public meeting, but would it be unconventional to ask them to extend it a few more houses?
There's been a lot of back and forth.
'Cause I know in other communities,
Yeah.
I think sometimes they ask developers to do that. I think it's not normal, but sometimes they say, okay, you can build a line to your development if you also finish this line for us.
Are you gonna ask them to do that, but then also tell them you want it to be a full gravity sewer? That might be
Negotiation,
a pretty big ask.
give and take, and not saying you
I think I would like at least the opportunity to sit down with them
Yeah.
in Weston and Sampson and take a look at these plans closer.
Any idea how much it would cost for a homeowner to tie in?
So,
I'd guess 30,000, but I'm the least smart person in the room on this topic.
so that's not a bad number. So there's a connection fee that gets paid to the town.
Yep.
It's like 16 grand. And then there's the cost for somebody to connect you. And if it's a short connection, if you're not too far off the road, 15 isn't a bad number for that, 15,000. But I get in trouble all the time by quoting numbers, because every property is different.
Yeah.
If you're sitting on ledge, you know, if you're sitting on a rock pile, that's more expensive to dig in and stuff like that. So there's a lot of variables that go into it, but that's not an unreasonable estimate.
Okay, so we're on board with releasing the memo, but we're not gonna approve any plans.
May I just, I'm so sorry, this isn't my place, but I think your concern, it wouldn't be unless her system, her current system failed. Is that correct? I
Or
just
she
don't
wanted
want
to.
Yeah, if I was
Right.
like-
If you wanted
Choose to
to,
connect,
or she
or-
just choose to.
I just
Yeah,
in
or if
case.
it's just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, I'd have
If
to
she-
connect if I'm
Yeah.
selling my
She's worried
house,
about
because I have an
that
old
30 grand.
septic
I just-
system.
I see.
It's a good
It
point.
could be an issue with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It could still pass, though.
Yeah, it could.
Test on it first and
could,
find out.
yeah.
All right, any more discussion on 0 Mansfield Ave? Well, let's go ahead and vote on that motion. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. Motion passes.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. So moving along, new business, do we want to do 10 and 77 West Main first?
I'd be grateful
You
for
guys are
that.
here before we get into the plethora of building streets that we
I'd be
have?
very grateful.
Okay. I guess go ahead and give your names for the record.
Am I on that agenda somewhere? Is this building dispute? Looking for-
You are.
Oh, you were one of the building disputes. I thought you were with him for some reason. I'm sorry.
We hit it off right away, but we did just.
Well, I kind of assumed, I shouldn't assume there. All right, well,
Please.
let's stay in order then, we'll go with you. Which,
217
What do you
Taunton
mean?
Avenue.
217 Taunton Avenue.
Did you have anything in writing for
I
them?
have a
For the
printout of
dispute?
that.
I didn't have any time, I found out about this late, I've been
Okay.
at a conference all day, but here I am.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah, I don't have any,
So if we could just maybe
Updates on
take a
that.
vote and then he could put something in writing later. This was one of the meters that we sent off to be tested, and it took a while for the results to come back.
okay,
So we originally sent it to Stiles, and it failed. We had some issues with Stiles, so we sent it to another company, and it failed again. So it was outside of the 2% range
Okay.
of the AWWA standards. So I don't believe we should charge them the meter testing fee, as well as I think that you could.
that's our policy, if it fails,
you
we don't
could
charge them,
get an
right?
abatement on his October bill.
Yeah, for the June, July, August billing, we got a whopping bill and a note, you're using a lot of water. So, we had, somebody came out from the water department, I think maybe Chris.
Yes,
on occasion,
that's
and he
what it was.
tested everything, and couldn't find anything. I said, well, could it be the meter? And he said, well, they never fail. Well, why don't we eliminate the possibility? So he put another
Yeah.
one in there, and just to give you a sense, the number was 49 for June, July, and August. And so I asked Janice to give me the number for September from 9/3 to 10/6. It was 13, which is on the same level of, same level of water usage that was claimed for June, July, and August. So that was 13. They put in he put in a temporary meter on the 5th of October, I got it here, and 2 weeks later, the number was 2, which applies 4 for the month, which would be 12 for the quarter. So that tells me that, and the usage in September, just to take that, the usage in September to October was identical, as far as no sprinkling or any of those. We did some in the summer, but not 49 worth. So anyway, it dropped immediately to 2, and I took a reading of it just yesterday, the temporary one, which covers essentially 3.5 months, I think. October, November, December, and then half of January was at 15.
Okay,
So I'm looking for some kind of, and I have the pattern of, I looked at all the September, the 9/1, 9/2 billings, and they're all like 2021. There's one anomaly in 2020, I don't know, it was at 42, but all the other ones are in that lower range of 20, 22, et cetera, so something,
What type of building is this?
it's a house.
House, okay.
Yeah, it is.
So Brooke, how do you recommend we phrase our motion?
You can phrase it as making an amendment based off his
Abate.
abatement, thank you. Based off the average usage for the first quarter bill for the past 2 years. That's typically how we estimate it,
yep,
if we can't get a read-in.
okay.
And forego the testing fee.
Correct.
We can make that part of the same motion, yes.
Yep.
Okay. We'll do the honors.
So just so I understand, you're basing it on the first quarter, meaning the first quarter?
So yeah, so the October bill
Oh.
for the past 2 years is typically how we estimate the bills if we're unable to get a read-in.
Yeah.
So I would recommend.
So you're looking at the same quarter?
Correct.
At the same time
You're
of
throwing
year.
out the-
Exactly.
You're not basing anything on the 49 number?
No,
No.
nope, we would base it off of the
You're taking some kind of-
October, well, the September 2024 and 2023,
Same quarter prior years.
correct.
All right.
So it looks like it's,
So a motion to abate the water bill for 217 Taunton Avenue to, based on the past two quarters,
based on the same quarter
Same quarter.
of the past 2 years.
past 2 years, and to waive the testing fee.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. Thank you, Steve.
All set?
You're good?
Okay, but you still need a letter
No,
Oh, we're all set.
whether or not.
Typically,
Take
we
care
do
of it.
have something in writing just for our records.
Yeah,
To give to the customer?
Just to keep on
It'd
file.
just be an email.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Keep it simple. This is a simple email to the water department.
oh, so I'm sending sending an email
And that way we'll respond to the
stating
email.
the case,
We're
basically.
just requesting an abatement.
Yeah,
Requesting an abatement for that quarter.
right.
Um,
Yeah. We've already voted on it, so it's a no-brainer of
Right.
just the
Just so we can
formality of
keep it
having the
on file.
document.
Okay, thanks. It was interesting, oh, these never fail, he told me. Well, apparently they do.
I don't think, I think this is the first
This
one. I
might be
know
the
that
first
has.
one ever.
Yeah.
In the history of mankind.
Do I get like a plaque?
No, you read
I'll put it right near the wall.
We'll have the meter bronze for you.
Meter number such and such failed here. It would be like
Smithsonian.
a tourist site, you know. Okay, I guess I'll, thank you. It's nice to
Thank
meet
Thank
you all.
you. Have a good night.
Okay, wish you well in your new role. Are you still in the honeymoon phase, or?
Where the rubber meets the road phase now.
I'm in the hundred.
Well, thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Do we have anybody else here for bill disputes?
I do.
What's your address?
113 King Philip Road.
That, I think I have some, yes.
Yeah, I sent all that.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Can you summarize this for us, Brooke?
I believe Janice has
Oh, yeah,
that. I
Janice
don't
has
have that.
We have it right here.
We could read through, or you could summarize it for us if you like.
Either one's fine.
If you could just state your name.
Sure.
Record.
Karen Dalton.
Thank
So on Tuesday, I believe it was December 17th,
16.
16th, the town came out, gave me a letter saying your water bill was extremely high it was $625, I believe, saying that I probably had a leak. I had plumbers there that day. They were putting in a new heating system for me. So one of them went under the house. I have a crawl space, so he went under the house. He didn't find any leaks. He checked the toilet, checked everything. There were no leaks in the house. The town came out. Jordan was fabulous. They did not want to turn the water off at the house though, because it was a very old shut off. So I had a plumber come the next day. He installed a new shut off. The town and the plumber could not find it in the line. They, thought it was still in the house, so, we had to do a little more research. That was on a Wednesday. Friday, they came back. Jordan came back, checked the meter again. He said the usage was fine. So we're like, okay, maybe it was the shut-off, we thought. Then they came back on the Monday. They said, no, it was high again. I'm one of those unlucky people that I have a meter pit out on the street. So it's very hard to tell where the water is leaking from.
Is it common?
I don't know.
There are some meter pits in town.
Yeah, and I'm one of the lucky ones. So,
It's becoming more common.
Is it?
yeah, so I asked them to change the meter. They said they never fail, but obviously they do. They did, they come out on the Wednesday, changed the meter. They advised me not to bother to test it, just wait and see what this new meter did. They came back out on the Friday. It was okay, then the next week it was high again. So they advised me to replace the pipe from the street to the house. I did that right away. On that Friday, I called an excavator to come out to look at it. Gave me a price. He was there on Monday. So I got this whole thing done very quickly, especially during the holiday season. It was,
Sounds like it.
Christmas and New Year's, so it was tough getting people out. I spent just about $8,000 to repair between the street and the plumbers, and so I am asking for leniency on the bill. It was $609 until December 3rd. I don't know what it is from December 3rd until we fixed it. I believe they said it was around 600 as well, maybe even higher than that. But I acted quickly. I conserved as much water as I could. And if I was not one of the unlucky ones that had it on the street and had it on the house, we would not find out this problem for who
Ever.
knows
Yeah.
how long,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, lucky for the town, unlucky for me.
So,
Okay, good.
well, I was just gonna say, was on sewer and it didn't leak into the sewer.
I was gonna say, I recommend you make an abatement to the
Typically, we
sewer.
abate the sewer portion of that.
Correct, we'll do that.
As far as the water being after the meter, there's not a whole lot we can do about that in keeping with precedent. Unfortunately, having a meter out like that, but, you want, anything more on this, Steve? I'd be fine with
Do we
abating the
know-
sewer.
We don't know what the bill is, right? Do we have a copy of that?
It's in here,
Yeah, I think Janice put everything together.
on the last page, Steve.
I have the one just until December.
So
Oh, yeah,
the,
this is going, okay. I
yeah,
don't know if it
9.2 to 12.2 is 246 for sewer, 290 for water, that's what we're talking about, right? So we could abate this $246 for sewer,
Yeah,
sound right?
Or I'd probably do it the same as you did the last one, based on the average of the past 2 years of the same quarter.
Oh, right, so it wouldn't be the
So you don't
whole
want
amount,
it-
but it would be average, and it looks like the average
It's two.
was
So it'd be the past 2 December bills.
16-ish.
Do you not have a separate sewer portion?
We do. So they have a separate sewer bill, so he didn't know if he should abate the whole thing or just based it off the average of the past 2 quarters, like the.
So we can make a motion to
No.
word it as such, just to reduce it to the average.
Unless you recommend something else.
I recommend you abate the sewer portion of it.
The entire sewer portion?
Well, the average, is that what you're
Down
getting
to the
at?
average,
I'm
that's
so
what
sorry.
we're talking about.
I'm so sorry.
Attributable.
Yeah, but not knowing what the actual average number is off the top of my head, if we make the motion worded to abate it down to what the average of the last
Of the
2
last
quarters,
two.
last 2 years of that quarter.
Correct.
And then through, she had her service replaced after this, the invoice, so there's gonna be a
So I
little
think
bit
she would
of time.
have to wait till the next bill.
Yeah.
And then you might wanna come back and get that portion abated as well.
We'd have to do that in
You
2
just
steps.
have to wait till the new bill.
When did you, I'm sorry, when did you have it replaced? You know the dates of the replacement?
yeah, we have that.
12, no, I don't, off the top of my head. It was on the Monday after Christmas, so,
So the 20, so
December 29th?
to
yeah.
the 30th,
right?
Yeah.
29, so abate it to that portion, to that date.
But I believe the water is gonna be like really high as well. And like I said, I'm just one of the unlucky ones, like,
Unfortunately, the water usage is the water usage, though. We have to
Yeah.
pump it, we have to clean it, we have to provide it. So generally speaking, it's gonna be paid for by something.
We've had a lot of bill disputes come in where we've done this exact thing. We've abated the sewer because it's provable that the water didn't go into the sewer system. But it went through the meter, so. But we can go ahead and do that motion. So we're gonna abate this to, here, right? So, I'll make a motion to abate the sewer portion of 113 King Philip Road. This is for the second quarter, because it's fiscal. For the second quarter's bill, to reflect the average sewer consumption for that quarter for the last 2 years. Is that right?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I as well. Thank you.
so you send me a new bill, or?
Yep, I can forward you a new bill tomorrow once I abate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else present for bill disputes? Does not look like it. Let's jump into 1077 West Main, and then we'll go through the rest of the bill disputes after. Finish with these guys. Sound good?
Thanks, yeah, thank you, thank you very much for getting me on
Yep.
today as well.
No problem. 1077 West Main Street.
And my name, Nicholas Lance, L-A-N-C-E. And for the sake of this meeting, I'm with Old West Main LLC. I'm also, we're Live and Learn Ventures as well as Northtown Properties. Give you a slight bit of background, stop me if I'm going, I tend to just carry on forever. while back, we did an extension of the desal line down South Washington for the water to get to 299 South Washington, 300 South Washington. We came in some time ago. At that time, our goal had been to be soon beginning progress on 77 West Main and its neighbor there, 0 West Main. We asked for a credit of the $85,000 that was spent to extend the desal line down South Washington. We were given that credit. It was attributed to 77 and 0 West Main. Since then, you may know some of this background, we've been actively trying to fix it. It's just a bit of a speed bump, securing a more permanency in the easement of a road / driveway that exists in between those two properties that is really the only access point to that property. We're waiting the further assistance of Mark and Town Council. Our council has advised us not to proceed until we have some sort of level of permanency with that easement. And additionally, in the interim, we've got the blessing, albeit begrudging blessing, from the Historic Department to move forward with 10 West Main Street. So we've sort of switched gears, and 77 is now a bit on hold. 10 West Main Street, which is a very similar project, we've gotten permission from the Building Department and from Conservation to do initial preliminary, just preparation work, get the ground sort of flattened, get a temporary site fence up, get the silt fence out, and any groundwater, stormwater prevention stuff, just so we're ready to hit the ground running. We are going to be moving forward with that one first, and I'm here to ask that we can have the $85,000 credit that was attributed to 77 West Main reattributed to 10 West Main, very similar project. Water and sewer fees are going to be in excess of $160,000 easy, based on the preliminary, and that's it. I'm not asking for any more money, just a reallocation of that money to a project, just because of some of the, unfortunately, my world is just a series of moving targets, and this one has moved, and this is we find it to be a little bit more prudent to apply it to 10 West Main than 77 and 0. So that's my only request.
Do you have anything to say about that? You probably know about more
Sure,
about
so
this than
I
us,
know
but-
about the more permanent easement. Last town meeting allowed for a permanent
Correct.
easement, but the select board gave a 50-year easement, and that wasn't enough to satisfy their high investment in the property, so we're looking at,
This is for 77.
for
Correct.
77. So we're looking at if it's advisable for the select board to make that a permanent easement, or if we accept that approximately 80-foot stretch as a public way, and the developer builds it up to town standards, which wouldn't include water or sewer. So that's
Separate issue, yeah. My request is just to move the money that they already granted us in a previous board meeting here, just move it from 77 to 10 West Main, because 10 West Main will be, at least a year sooner than 77.
So I'd say, well, are you looking to come back to the well for, say they approve this? Would you be asking for another 85,000 or
No,
whatever?
I'm just trying to cover our costs.
77 Main?
No, we got the 85,000 for the work we did extending the desal line at 299 South Washington. They gave it to us, we had it applied to 77.
Okay.
We're just saying we're not moving forward with 77 yet. We have to go with 10 West Main first. So can we apply that money, instead of applying it to 77, to 10? We're not getting a break on our fees or anything in either of those properties. We were given a credit for municipal infrastructure that we did.
So you just want to change the credit?
I just want to
It's
change
not
our
another
credit from one
credit.
building. I'm
Okay.
sorry, this is me carrying
So
on.
how did we give you the credit for 77? I mean, I know we gave it, but did we give it in writing?
Yes, it was a motion.
Yeah, there was a motion made by Commissioner James Jarn to reduce the,
If memory serves, the initial discussion on this was 10, and then when we actually got to voting for it, it was 77. Initially, you gave to us for 10.
I think that may have
Then
been
it was
the case.
77, and now you just want to
It's
apply
been
it
a
back
s-
to 10.
That's all, yeah, I'm not asking for anything more from
So
the
can I
town.
borrow your piece of paper, the motion?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, that's what I'm asking, if we're gonna revise it, we're gonna revise the thing.
Thank you very much. And they're very, like I said, they're very similar projects. It's just one of, we were planning on moving forward with 77 and then getting to 10. The historic department was kind enough to allow us to proceed and,
But
So
exactly.
this is the motion we made when we gave them the money.
I think we can make a motion to reallocate the money from 77 West Main Street project to the 10 West Main Street project. I'm fine with that. What I don't want to see is it just being this floating discount that you can apply to any, you're here in 2 months saying, hey, we got this new place out on Newland Street we're gonna develop, we'd rather apply it to that one, you know?
I understand that concern.
Let's keep it here and have it end there.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, really, I wanted to be doing both. It's really just the easement issue that Mr. Bill can certainly attest to that put us in.
It sounds like that's a year later, obviously you're gonna be doing 10 sooner than.
Oh, the construction fence is being installed on Friday, so we'll be moving forward with that. We've got everything we need. I've already been down to the building department.
I'm fine with this, it doesn't change any,
Do you have any comment on this?
it doesn't change any dollar amounts at all.
Do you have any comment on this?
I mean, as long as it's the same water usage and proposed, you know, I mean, it's a credit for the infrastructure they've already built, so, and it extends further, right? You went in the other direction, I'm sorry, so 10
10's
is
closer
sooner
to
than
the center.
77, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
So, that, yeah, if it was the other way, then, no, but this is the right way.
So I guess we're gonna make a motion by me to reduce the water connections fees for 10 West Main Street from 101 to the, well, I don't know what that is, but is it the same fee reduction?
85,000.
Okay, for 101, for 10 West Main Street, for a reduction of $85,000 contingent upon the full build of the project.
But
Yes.
remove the credit.
Yeah, we wanna rescind the other one.
No offense, you gotta
Okay.
rescind the credit for
Oh,
77.
okay, yeah.
We can't just give them the credit for the new one.
Did I
and
just
not-
lose everything there?
No, so we need to
No.
reallocate
Nice
it.
try.
Okay, so we have to make a motion to rescind the
shouldn't have come
motion,
here.
to rescind the motion that
Oh,
we
it's
made.
90,000.
Great.
Do you wanna do it in two, you wanna rescind that motion and make a new one? We can do that too.
Sure. I want to make a motion to rescind the motion that we made, I'm not so sure the date of this, made by,
October 14th.
okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What would they be without you?
That's why we have
That's a great question.
a motion to rescind the motion from October 14, 2025, to reduce the water connection fees for 77 West Main Street from 100,000, 200,000 to $16,200, a reduction of $85,000 contingent upon the full build of the project.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. So now we passed the motion to rescind that, now we need to make a motion to credit towards 77, towards
10.
10.
I make a motion to reduce the water connection fees for 10 West Main Street
I would say
from,
just buy that amount.
Yeah, if you don't
The
mind,
numbers aren't
I
gonna be the same, right?
Right.
I haven't been told exactly, are we
Okay.
doing a 2-inch, 2.5-inch, or 4-inch for the residential supply line? So I'm not really certain exactly, but it'll be in excess of that.
so 10 West Main Street, a reduction of $85,000 contingent upon the full build of the project.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. So I think we're good now.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
We
Thanks for
have-
getting me in.
we
I'm
are-
right to $90,000.
And it was very nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
And thank you all very much, and appreciate you getting us into this meeting.
We did the 113.
You guys have a great night.
You too.
And again,
Likewise.
I guess we'll continue the rest of these bill disputes and get them out of the way. This is Karen Dalton, we already did that one. 100 West Main Street, Steve. West Main Street, this is just the email that came through with any associated, that's what I thought. So,
This one,
Janice, the schedule of payment is expected to deliver.
Oh, this is interesting.
This is,
The one that was-
oh, this is the dental, the advanced dental. Can you summarize this at all, Brooke, or was this Janice?
This was Janice's one, sorry. The only one I had is the 44 Newland and the 6 Cotton that I sent you guys.
Where's Janice's email? Janice says she disputed the interest charges for a payment we did not receive. She included a letter attached below in the email. I'll go ahead and just read her letter, I guess. So, hi Janice, I scheduled a payment of $7,362.26 through Dr. Garcia's bank this morning. Payment is expected to be delivered to the town by 1/16/26. All documents showing the original payment as well as the payment made today are attached, which it looks like they are. I've also included a letter asking you for a credit on the interest and penalty we charged on that return to payment. You were kind enough to offer to deliver the letter to the appropriate party. So they're looking for a reduction of interest on water and sewer. It looks like right around 100 and change, $100 and change. So, just so I understand this correctly, they sent in a payment and somehow we didn't get it.
That's
So
what it
then they
sounds
ended up
like.
being late on said payment,
Correct.
and now we did get that payment? Or we get,
I don't
we
think
have,
we received a payment. Is the account status report included in that?
It says 116, it says 116, so that hasn't happened yet.
The 16th of,
Right, so yeah, so then
okay,
it,
so,
so yeah, so as of, we have not received any payment yet. But as of 1/16, I think it might be the bank just hasn't processed it yet.
should we wait until we get said payment to do this motion? Because if we make this motion and then we don't get the payment, then we're gonna be right back here again.
Yeah, and I would ask,
I mean, she's within the 30 days of asking for this.
what was the reason we didn't get the payment?
Actually, it's not really a bill dispute,
I
so that's
think
not,
it
the
was like a
30-day thing
banking
isn't.
issue. I just think or a mail-in issue, we just never received the payment.
we're not sure why.
Right,
I think that's important, though.
yeah.
I get the impression that, well, I don't know, I think they mailed it, and it came back to them. Maybe it was a,
So that really wouldn't be our fault
No,
to.
No, it wouldn't be our
no.
fault, but I feel more comfortable putting this to rest once we actually get the payment. Because if we make a motion for this right now, and then a month from now, oh, I guess it got kicked back again, can we get a break on the next month's interest, you know, and play that game month to month? Can we kick this to next meeting and actually
You
get
can
the
table
payment?
it. Table it.
And Table it to next meeting, and then
You can definitely table it.
when we get, assuming that does actually come in on the 16th, if we want at that point, we can revisit these numbers
And then we
right
can ask
here.
for more information on, you
Why?
know, what
I
happened.
make a
Does that make
motion
sense?
to table this dispute for 100 West Main Street, is that what it is? 100
Yeah.
West Main Street?
Yep.
Till next meeting.
I second that motion, all in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Moving along with bill disputes here. Which one is this? It's the same one. Here. This one's so. 92 West Main Street. Let's see what I got on 92 West Main Street. She was disputing the sewer charge for a hot water tank that caused a high usage bill. See attached and below. So, to whom it may concern, from Megan H., 92 West Main Street. I'm writing to dispute the water and sewer bill for the address 92 West Main Street, water bill number 02001819, account number 00453. The property's hot water tank recently caused a huge water leak back in September. It has since been replaced. At your convenience, please contact me via email or phone. More information is there. So she wants to, had a leak in the water heater. Are they on sewer as well?
It appears so.
It does appear so. So this sounds like a leak that didn't go in the sewer, that we could abate some of the sewer? Does that
Correct.
make sense to you guys? Question is how much, though? She says,
And the question would be, where did it go? Is there any evidence that it went anywhere?
She pumped it out her back door. It's a good point.
actually, that is a good question. Was the water tank leaking, or was it water leaking through the system? If it was leaking through the system, it went in the sewer, right?
I think
I think it leaked into their
some
basement.
policies.
into the
are-
basement?
Yeah, that's how I interpreted that there was a brick.
That was my first thought.
Generally speaking, somebody has to prove that the water didn't go down. Like this gentleman that was here that can prove that it was his water pipe going into the ground, right? When you have a leak in the house and you say, well, it leaked into my basement, well, what did you do with it after? And if they prove to us that they pumped it out into the backyard, that's one thing, but I think that proof needs to be shown. So again, if you want to table it, to see if they can explain to us and prove to us where the,
Well, one thing I'd like to know is, I mean, was it for the whole quarter? When did it actually happen? She doesn't give us any dates. Says water leak, huge water leak back in September. But if they had a huge water leak back in September and they fixed it, that's a huge number, consumption. They're at 4, 5, 6, and all of a sudden they're at 46. That would have been leaking for a long time, wouldn't it?
Hey,
I mean, usually when if your water tank blows, I don't know, I'm not.
who knows?
Well, there'll be evidence of that.
Well, it came
That's a
home
lot.
and their basement was full of water, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's a lot of
No,
water.
I have no clue.
at this point, because I'm new, I would ask you to table this till we ask them for more evidence. Because they're not giving you any information as to how much, how long, and what they did with it.
Well, we can table it, and this does fall within the 30-day deal, so if we table it, that doesn't change, right? There's still.
Correct, because we received it
Because
within
we
the 30
received it
days.
within the 30 days.
Yep.
Okay, so I
We
make,
can do that, and then Steve will be around, so we'll have another,
so could you ask them
Supervisor.
for, put in a memo to request them to provide us more information, and when they, if in the event there was a rupture, when they pumped
Yeah.
out their basement, where did the water end up? So I make a motion to table the bill dispute for 92 West Main Street.
I second that motion, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. So that motion passes, thank you. And we have one more.
I think we have
We
two.
have two more. We'll start with 6 Cotting Road. Where is 6 Cotting Road?
Red Mill Road,
That's in Reading Village, okay.
right behind Callie's Restaurant
Um,
on,
So this was you, Brooke, right?
Yes, so this is one that had 2 quarters of high usage. We went out and did a leak detection and the tech did not find any leaks. However, the resident stated that a plumber went out and fixed all her toilets and faucets, and now everything's back to normal. So it seems like there was a leak somewhere, we might have just not seen it.
We just never found it.
Correct, so I feel like there's really nothing we can do because we can't prove it wasn't in the toilets or where it was, so unfortunately,
So that's a case of a leak that was going in sewer, basically.
we can't prove, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've never abated sewer when someone had a leak that went into the toilet that we knew of.
so do I make a motion for no action?
Yes.
I think so,
I make a
yeah.
motion to take no action on the 6 Cotting Road water dispute dated January 12th, 2026.
I second that motion, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, thank you.
All,
And, big pile of papers here. We've got one more,
Yes, so this
44
is,
Newland Street.
this
No,
one, the resident, I'm sorry?
3rd Cotting?
No,
We
44
just
Newland?
finished 6 Cotting,
Oh, Newland.
That's a
right,
new
okay,
one.
right.
44 Newland Street.
So the resident is asking for a bill adjustment for the sewer portion due to a water leak through an exterior spigot.
Yep, I remember this, this seemed like pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's the one I commented on.
So where it was outside, you can kind of prove that it wasn't sewer.
Yeah.
And he's asking to adjust the bill based off of 13 units, as that's been his highest
Yep.
usage, which the cost is $89. So if you wanted to approve that, you would want to make a motion to abate $178.09 of the sewer portion.
Yep, you got that right there. Justin, you want to make your comments on this before we?
No, I agree.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to abate $178.09 of the sewer portion of the bill for 44 Newland Street.
A second.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. And that concludes all our bill disputes.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, we did have one from 8 Flint Lane.
Wait, we
Couple
did?
months ago.
Yeah, that we
Couple
put
months
under
ago.
the superintendent updates.
Oh,
That was
okay,
under the
okay.
determination on the meter test.
Well, that's next on the list, so we can right
Yeah,
into
so
that, I
this was
guess.
another test that was sent out. They sent the dispute letter in on October 14th for that meeting.
Okay,
This was tabled pending an offer to have their meter tested, which it was tested. The meter did fail both tests, however, it was in the acceptable 2% range. So you guys would have to decide if we want to charge them the $75 fee, because it did fail, but it was in the range, and if we want to make a motion to abate any
Wait, so-
bill.
so it didn't fail.
According to the standards,
It
it
failed.
fails, but according to our regulations, we allow a 2% range.
1.9?
Yeah. I don't even think it was that much, honestly. I have.
So it's in the
tests.
acceptable range.
It's in the
Yes.
acceptable range, but it's not great, in other words.
That's-
So it's recording more water or less water?
They don't tell you that, they just tell you that it's off by less than 2%.
Usually if it's off, it's to the customer's favor, generally, right? It records less than,
Typically, but
So
usually
these
the
are the
negative or
results.
positive.
Really not familiar with how to do this.
Accuracy 100%. 101, 102. They don't tell you whether it's just plus or minus.
so it didn't fail.
According to testing.
It's within our specifications.
According to Norton, in our specifications, it did not fail.
Correct. That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Okay. Then if we don't have a failing meter, we would have to charge them for the meter, right? For the test?
The $75, yes.
Yep.
That sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Perfect.
What do you think, Steve?
We just have to make a motion.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Double tough.
In fact, it makes me wonder, do we need to change our standards to line up
No,
more with
because the
actual
2%
testing?
is an industry standard.
Okay. Well, if that's an industry standard and that's our regulations and that's what we've always done in the past,
So I guess.
I'm
we-
fine calling that a passing meter.
So I guess, and our original motion was to abate the extensive water bill, so I guess the motion has to be no action on their request for a water rebate.
And then to charge them the
And
meter
the charge
test.
for the water meter test.
Correct.
That's my motion. I'm sticking to it.
Okay, then I'm gonna second that motion then.
Okay?
All in favor?
Aye. Is that okay, Bert?
Yes,
Okay.
I am an aye as well on that one. Now, that concludes our bill disputes.
that is it.
All right.
A lot tonight. All right, so
So you're going through the superintendent updates?
I will do my best.
All right, I'm sure you're doing an awesome job.
So we had a service leak on Pleasant Street. The on-call tech received a call on New Year's Eve that the water was bubbling up on Pleasant Street. Crews responded and discovered that it was a lead gooseneck that was leaking for a long time and ended up surfacing. Crews ended up replacing the lead gooseneck, but we will need to replace that main at some point.
What
there-
street was that? Pleasant? Oh,
Pleasant Street.
That's over by me.
So will we replace the service leak or the main?
We replaced the lead gooseneck,
Okay,
so we'll have to replace the main at some point.
okay.
There was another service leak on Island Road, which was yesterday. We received a call from a resident stating that the water was bubbling up at 41 Island Road. The curb stop on the town side had a huge hole in it and was leaking for a long time. Crews cut out the curb stop and replaced it with a new curb stop and a short piece of 1-inch copper pipe.
Where's Island Road?
I think it's off a reservoir.
Is that right?
Yeah. Then we had a water main leak on Sturkey Street, so we're 3 for 3. We were notified of a small leak by a resident. Upon excavation, we found it to be a 2-inch water main, which was a good coupling. Crews replaced the coupling with a piece of Schedule 80 pipe and 2 wrapped around couplings. This work was completed on Thursday the 8th.
Well,
And that is all I have.
Busy.
We've been very busy.
What did you just say? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The water, they replaced it with the Schedule 80.
Sorry, let me go back to that one. A Schedule 80 pipe and 2 wrapped around couplings.
And determination on meter test, we've already pretty much talked about all that, right?
Correct, yep.
Did they save the lead gooseneck?
I'm sorry, did they
You
say
know
that?
it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, see if they can find that. All right. Put that on a lead and copper,
That's right.
The lead gooseneck on Pleasant Street, that you said that, so we gotta replace the main. Are you referring to the main in the road or the main going to the house?
she only read the rules, she doesn't know, that's why,
Okay.
you know.
I would assume the main in the road,
If they're
but
calling it a main, it shouldn't be the,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be the lateral.
I think Pleasant's on your master plan. but-
Yeah. Yeah, that's right by my house. Okay. There's a number 4 item on superintendent's DPW director. Who, Justin's already pretty much introduced himself.
Yeah,
If you want to say anything else.
nothing to add at this time.
Okay.
So Justin, in the future, how do you see us proceeding as water and sewer commissioners and our actions forthwith? Meaning, we make decisions
You're gonna make recommendations.
and make a recommendation to you?
You're gonna make a recommendation, yeah.
And then how do you, what action and how do you take it, the action? Is there a board of public works? Or is that just the other final say?
Correct.
Okay.
With the town administrator, I would, you know, depending on what the action item is, if it's something within my expertise, obviously, I would take your recommendations and act accordingly.
So do you become part of our quorum and vote on our motions and stuff?
Not necessarily, no. As I am now, I'm here to facilitate. I see a superintendent coming as needed, you know, so I'd probably take over that role. But then, you know, for instance, the gravity main that we're talking about earlier, that's something that I would take your recommendation under consideration.
Okay.
I think I'm too new
Yeah.
to see what
No, I'm just.
what the construction standards are for the city, or the town. I apologize, I come from a city, so. The construction standards, and Weston and Sampson may know what the town has for construction standards and items like you're discussing, whether or not we allow for them to go into the gutter line, or, you know, I know in my world, it's very difficult to allow people to move where they're supposed to be in the city layout or the town layout, because it messes things up for the future, right? Whether it be a gas line or fiber optics or water lines or wherever, you know, the layout is. If that hasn't been established, then it's time we establish that.
Well, this is a state road, so.
So it is established by the state, which is another piece of the pie. But yeah, I look forward to working very closely with the Water and Sewer Commission and taking your recommendations seriously.
So in future meetings, would you plan on attending?
I hope to, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
I know.
We have to make sure we include them as an invite.
Yeah.
I know there was talk about it being Zoom, which at times that might be a lot easier, but I'm gonna plan to.
Okay.
So in future contract signings, are you the signature or is the water superintendent?
I couldn't tell you
Okay.
that at this point.
Do you have anything present?
We had stuff that was voted on last
Right.
month, but I don't know where it
Okay.
stands. But yeah, we will.
I'm sure we will.
So we welcome you.
Okay, yes, welcome.
And I appreciate being here.
Moving right along, Weston and Sampson, who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
All
All
right, Tara.
right, so as usual,
You're up.
Waterwork doesn't tend
Why don't you
to...
introduce
Oh,
yourself?
Tara McManus, Weston and Sampson, sorry for the public
problem.
that sees me every meeting or something.
Sorry.
Yep, no worries, thank you for the reminder. The waterwork typically does shut down in the winter, as we all know. So there's not a whole lot of updates we have. I've been coordinating a little bit directly with Derek over at the plant, with Frank being out. Shortly, I think after the last meeting, we talked a little bit about the aerators online for the Cottage Street tank.
Yep.
Little blip, it actually did shut down. Got the guys to go out there and revamp that and get it started again. But you know, all within the warranty. We've got a full year on that. But that's so far, again, it's typical. But it looks like it's running fine. I called Derek and we chatted last week. And
What
just
was the shutdown? Just tripped the breaker or something?
Yeah, there's just a little bit of electrical, and then they got a failure, and then there's a little bit of your you have harbor controls that just needs to provide one more piece of pie.
Could you explain to Justin why we put an aerator where we did?
Yes, we can. So, we have a 2 million gallon tank at Cottage Street, and there's an elevated 500,000 gallon tank next to it. The 2 million gallon tank, we basically put an aerator and a mixer in.
Yep.
So a dual system to kind of help with the THM. So historically, the last several years, there's been some THM issues at the
Okay.
furthest parts of the system. Those tanks are located in the center of town, so that's a very, central location that kind of is pushing the water. And based on our testing of the water in the area, it was starting to age significantly after that tank.
Okay.
So, the whole goal of an aerator is to kind of reduce the THMs, and then you're hopefully,
Good down the line.
gotta get through the running annual average with the water quality. But it's, the last test, it's winter too, so it's usually, we're not adding as much chlorine anyway, but you'll have about three months or so of the aerator online to kind of check it. I believe so we tested in November. We put the aerator online shortly thereafter, and then you'll have roughly 3 months or so. So this next round of testing, and if you look at that map, kind of the center of town is where the tank is, but the upper right quadrant and the down lower left, there are 2 out of the 4 points that you take THM sampling, and those are the
Okay.
2 that historically have had a little bit higher levels. So the hope is that when they get the samples back, so December, January, February, he'll be testing next month, and then within usually a week or so, we'll find out and get some information on that. But and assuming that we have some historical background over the next year, that's what we've been providing with DEP. So they're under administrative consent order to also address the THM issues by the end of this calendar year, December 31st of 2026.
Are you familiar with the fact we're under an ATO?
I am.
Okay.
And there's 4 points in that. We're systematically going through 2. One of them's already actually taken care of more or less on the lead and copper sampling, and then the THMs is what the aerator whole point was of that whole project. So we'll keep in touch and making sure there's no issues, but we're kind of at the punch list level of that project. And then on our end, we just need to finish our as-built and submit that final invoice, but we're going to hold on to that until we clarify a couple months of good operation, and then, invoice. But
So, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but probably one of these days, he'll probably want to see his infrastructure. I would think.
Say that again, I
I said, one of
apologize.
these days, you probably want to see our infrastructure.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So we probably should set that up. It's something that Jim and I also want to do, so maybe it's just to give us an excuse to do it now.
Yeah,
Sounds like a great excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm on board.
So we should plan that maybe in spring, right? How about
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Plan for spring to,
Sure.
so you're gonna look at the wells, you're gonna look at the tanks from a water side, and you said you've been to the water treatment plant.
I have,
Okay, I guess you did that yesterday?
I did.
So,
all right, well, that's the big infrastructure.
I'm pretty
thing.
sure, and I'm not
You've never been to the
I'm
water
not
treatment plant,
positive, but were you involved in that water treatment plant?
Yeah, so we started the design, and unfortunately it was years ago, but there's some Native American artifacts and there's some delays, but overall, the design, moved forward, and then we basically went out to bid in 2018 roughly, 2019 through 2020. During COVID, we put that plant online,
Very good.
through Methuen Construction was the contractor. Yep, and then what's happening right now, there's several projects that are ongoing. One of them is a primary, we haven't really moved forward too much with that. It's the water quality and PFAS alternatives analysis review. So there's a couple factors that we're working on, but one of them is interconnections. Another part of it is, which is what is proposed for an amendment, is to move forward with our recommendations for piloting.
Okay,
So we have piloting over at well 1, piloting at well 3, and then a little bit of piloting over at the treatment plant, a little bit more on the color and organics over there. We also are taking a look at well 1. The goal is, and what our recommendation and what we're probably going to move forward with, but it's more of a discussion point when Frank gets back, and we can talk a little bit further. We just presented to the town manager in draft form, I think it was right around Thanksgiving or something.
okay,
So we wanted to make sure we got some information in front of him before Frank went out on leave. So, but the main goal there is to try to replace well 1 with a well field and go for a higher yield, and potentially if iron and manganese treatment needs to go there, it'll make it a little bit more beneficial, but right now the issue over there is manganese at well 1.
Correct.
It's a little bit over the secondary level, so we're keeping an eye on that. Through the ACO, it's only turned on as needed, if needed. And they also currently are only running well 3, which does have higher elevated PFAS. It's below mass DEP, but will not be under the future EPA 2030 regs. So we're taking a holistic approach to looking at costs, what's best, cost-benefit analysis, but also for the water system, and then, you know, for emergency purposes, interconnections, and or potential for purchasing water for that.
So just so you don't, because you don't know, I don't think, is well number 3, which is off of East Main Street, off of Newland Street area, is far from the other wells. So that's a whole nother
That's the
issue.
PFAS.
That's the one with PFAS, right, correct.
So if we only use that well on a temporary basis, would that the right word?
Well, right now, we could use the well. Right now, we're under the limits.
Correct.
Yes, you have spiked slightly over 20 every so often, but on the average, you've been typically below, correct.
So as part of the analysis, and there's a couple of things to do, either build treatment plant at well number 3, or have a pipe from well number 3 to the treatment plant, but it's a distance.
Yeah.
So those are part of the.
So I've been it's been mentioned to me, all of this is, you know, the items that they kind of said, here's one of the projects you're gonna look into, so I look forward to talking to Weston and Sampson more, and kind of meeting. I'm sorry, shit keeps falling down.
It's these are the chairs that we want to replace.
I look forward to talking to Weston Sampson more about what you've done and the infrastructure that's in place, and kind of come up with an educated plan to move forward.
Definitely.
So what we've been trying to do is, unfortunately or fortunately, or whatever you do, is DEP has very strict guidelines when we have to notify our users on violations of our testing. We don't like sending out those cards, nor do the people when they receive them, because I'm sure you've seen them.
Panic stricken.
They're written in a
Sure.
foreign language that nobody can understand.
Sure.
We can't change.
Including us. So we're trying, our best bet is we're going to try to eliminate those problems by addressing these problems early, as opposed to
waiting.
So we're proactive on the whole PFAS thing. We've been working on it we've been talking about it a long time. We've actually took the bull by the horns and we're moving forward.
We have to be, it's gonna happen, it's coming down, it's.
Of course, we don't really know if the 20 is going to be at some other number. We don't know what we're actually shooting for and the thing, but we're moving forward. And half the battle is to figure out, it really doesn't really matter what the number is. It's a matter of facilitating how to do it. Right? The whole hydraulics thing about how to connect A to B to whatever else.
Yeah.
Whether or not we have to treat it for 20 or 6 or 10 or whatever the number is, we'll worry about the
It's almost
technology
irrelevant
later.
at this point. It's-
But we're trying to, it's not, as you can imagine, it's not easy.
No.
So,
Right, and testing standards have gotten better, so, you know, 8 years ago, non-detect, right, anywhere. And then, the EPA had one that was 70, and now we're at 20 with mass DP. So I think, you know, compared to some of the surrounding neighbors, Norton is actually, on that side of the front, is way ahead of the
In
game.
better shape.
Yeah, so
Great.
and we're not in violation, but we're
proactively.
we want to be proactive to deal with it.
Understood. Thank you.
And then we recently replaced wells 5 and 6. We're in the process of replacement of well 4. We finished our pumping tests a couple months back. We are actually putting our application into Mass DEP shortly. Just need to add in, I want to just coordinate with Derek a little bit on the pump for that. We got recommendations from, there's a specific driller that the town likes to use, and they recommended a certain, we have a little bit of an iron and manganese issue on the raw water going into the plant, kind of impacting the well faster, so we're just talking through a little bit with him. But other than that, that's just, you know, most pumps are not really made as well as they used to be, so he's got a favorite manufacturer.
Seems to be an understatement.
Yeah, so we just need to finalize that and get it in, but we also have some, we have EPA grants funding some of that too, as a special project, so.
We just got $1.5 million grant, didn't we,
That's a
since our
separate
last
one,
meeting?
But yes, yes.
That's a different one?
So, yep.
Okay, sorry.
So this is an older grant that for the EPA, it took
Okay.
several years to figure this all out, but we're moving in the right direction, but it's gonna basically reimburse you for the construction costs of wells 5 and 6, and then it'll pay for the construction costs of well 4. So we just need to make sure there's specific funding requirements, we just need to add those into the specs. But that's that is the hope that we'll be out to bid this winter. Likely, depending on unless there's any kind of concerns, but the intent is to have that well, under construction the summer into the fall, and then hopefully by winter of next year, that'll be fully replaced. And then, yes, so we had kind of gone a little bit back and forth, applied through Mass DP through the ECSDC, which is basically for you guys, it's a small system, emerging contaminant small system grant that is funded through EPA, and that application officially went in actually pretty quickly, about a little bit around like last meeting or just before that. And then EPA back to work, luckily, and they were pretty quick on approving, so we have actually received confirmation that 1.5 million will be able to go towards the PFAS and the water quality work. So our proposal was in for amendment to do that, to work on the piloting, and that would cover all piloting as well as our engineering fees to roughly to date. There's a little bit of stuff that's excluded, but the majority of our previous invoices for this water quality and alternatives analysis would be paid for.
Nice.
So Justin, we have contracts for all this work from Weston Sampson. We also have, I believe, a $50,000 general
For each water.
Gas
for
water.
water and a $50,000 general for sewer, so that now that you're the director, if people come to you and say, hey, I want this, that, you actually have a pot of money, you can actually direct Weston Sampson to do something for you, as
Okay.
opposed to not having any money to do anything for you.
Great.
And that's just not a catch-all, but you can plan, but then shit happens.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
And it does on his end, so,
Yeah.
no, just kidding.
So, I mean, it gives everybody a little flexibility to solve problems.
Great.
Yeah, so we just were asked by Frank, knowing that he was gonna be out, he asked us to work through an application, to just put some documentation together to Mass DP, something that's gonna, maybe 20 hours of work or something like that on our end. So, if it needs to get done immediately, anybody can call us and we jump on it. So, I know Brooke's looking into lead services, they just finished up notifications at the end of the month. Yeah, so, and then 2026 is, the next step. So, there's a little bit of changeover, so there's an assistant superintendent that was handling a lot of that. And then, with Frank being out too, there's, we basically, whatever needs to happen in the next month or two, statistical reports are right around the corner. We typically take a look at the numbers and we help them with the calculations if need be. At this point, we may provide a little bit more services to help out if the staff is not available. And I know that half the battle is collecting all the data, so we're here to support as needed for that. And I think the only other, we have a grant in application for asset management, but I don't think we're going to hear that for another couple months, but DEP might be issuing a notification on that. And then the only other project, South Worcester Street is on hold. That's, I believe that Chris provided an update to Mark on that, and you might have been updated today. I believe you had a kickoff.
Correct.
So, South Worcester and East Hodges is a water main replacement project. It's pretty much nearing the end. We're just going to work with Highway on doing final paving and what limits they want for that. That actually is funded through ARPA. So I'm going to get all my funding sources together, but we have a lot of money that I think over the last few years we've been able to cultivate together to kind of get some really nice improvements, so it's not an impact on the ratepayers. And then Elm Street Sewer is now Elm Street Water. That's an amendment.
You cut up the whole Elm
I am.
Street,
That's a fun one,
nightmare
so,
on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I am.
It's no longer, yeah.
Were you able to watch the meetings? Don't.
I am.
You don't want to go there, trust me. We must have gone to,
I'm gonna move
25 meetings.
forward.
Let's just go
Exactly,
back.
you want to move forward.
So that sewer design was, designed with water and sewer replacement. We went through millions of meetings including town meeting, that it wasn't a happy ending, so we converted the sewer water project to a water project. And that
Still
is,
trying to utilize
and-
a MassWorks grant,
And we still have a mass,
hopefully.
hopefully
All right.
have a $3.5 million grant.
Very outside chance on that.
Yeah. Well,
I think we're
We're still
We're
trying to work it.
optimistic we're gonna
Alright.
keep
The
our
developer is
$3.5
still
million.
possible.
Keep our fingers crossed.
so that is, water main was supposed to be replaced years ago on that, and then it wound up, the town paved it, and then it was under moratorium. So it's been on the list for a while, but just, and then it was great, MassWorks grant, Steve's group went together and put in an application for both water and sewer, and then, so we're getting something
Familiar, we have
done.
master plans for both of this, water and sewer. Okay, we more or less try to follow that, but again, situation
More or
changes.
less.
Yeah.
with Frank being superintendent now, and there's a lot more collaboration, at least on what's your paving plan, here are our streets, so,
It's gonna
We work
become,
closely with the
it's
town
gonna
planner.
come even more.
yeah.
And we work closely with the town planner, so if a town planner comes up to us and says, well, you know, industry wants to develop here, we need water main, whatever, we try to accommodate.
Great.
So there weren't many updates, at least on as far as our, no, there's no real construction happening on our end for that, and we just have the, you know, 2 outstanding amendments that we're just waiting to hear back on, and I think, you know, the intent was for Elm Street to go out to bid this spring. You know, it's all depending on when we get an authorization to move forward, so, and I'll just open up to general questions.
Okay.
All right?
I don't have any, you got any?
No, not
questions?
not as of yet.
Yeah, no problem.
We will,
Day 2, I get it.
we will be talking.
Yes, yeah, sure.
All right.
Was there a pay estimate for South Worcester Street I had to make a motion for?
Did you, oh, actually, yes, so Gavin sent those to you, my bad.
Yes, I think it should be in
Is it in the packet?
There
file.
was one I signed.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think we just have to make a motion on that to approve it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Did we authorize you to sign off on them, and Chris, the last
Yes.
meeting? Correct, good.
Yeah, the CC construction.
I don't know if, do you want to sign off on it now? or-
Whatever you guys had in place, we will
Okay.
honor for tonight and
Moving forward.
move
Thank you for
forward.
that, yeah, that's right.
So we're just making a motion to approve the pay estimate?
Yeah, so our recommendation is on there for payment to CC, so that's both predominantly police details from the paving that they, the temp,
Okay,
permit
I will
transport.
go ahead and make a motion to approve the, what pay estimate is this? Pay estimate number 10 for the South Worcester Street and East Hodges area. Water main improvement projects to CC Construction in the amount of $18,438.76.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. Thank you. Did we have to approve for someone to sign this, or?
So we voted last time to allow Brooke or
We already
Chris to
did
sign
that,
in
yeah,
Frank's
yeah,
place.
okay.
So that,
That's all
moving
right.
forward, you don't have to do it again, but once you approve it, then it can be signed.
Do you need a copy of that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just
I'll make
need
a
it
note
then
afterwards,
after.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Dennis. You're welcome.
All right, that, you're all set then, Tara?
Yes, I am, thank you.
All right, Steve, you're up.
All right, so
What we got?
sewer, start with the pump station, so Cobb Street. We're moving forward with the design of Phase 3, so just to bring you up to speed, Cobb Street's one of the 2 most critical wastewater pump stations in the system, handles the majority of the flow from the town over the last 6 years now, I guess. So we went in like 6 years ago, did a CIP. First thing we did was replace the generator. It was old, couldn't get parts for it, they having trouble with it. So the generator is pretty new out there now. Second phase was to go in and gut the wet well and coat it and clean it up and get that back up to code. And
What year is it, do you know?
the station itself is from the 70s.
It's okay,
I don't remember, but it's on the, I don't know off the top of my head.
it's okay.
It's probably older than that. It's
That's-
older than that.
yeah.
It's older than that, yeah. And so then phase 3 was to actually address the pumps and look into replacing the pumps. So we had a site visit, so we're under contract to do that work. We had a site visit December 10th, just to kind of go through the whole CIP from 5 years ago, check off all the stuff that's been done, what's left. And we're looking into the best option, whether it be rebuild the pumps, replace in kind, and we're also providing an option to switch it out with a different type of pump, with a dry pit submersible. And we met out there with Bruno. So we're looking at those options, and then we will move forward with putting a package out for public bid, and looking to be between the spring and into the summer through the bid award process, and by the end of this year, have new pumps out there at Cobb Street. So in line
So
with
you're
that.
contracted to manage and engineer, is that?
So put it out to bid, manage the bidding process, and then to be on site as needed during the installation, during construction.
Okay,
And then similar to that is the Great Woods generator, or the Great Woods pump station. which is similar to the Cobb Street, is the other largest station in town. Generator had to be repaired not too long ago,
Yeah.
same issue with parts and everything, so we've gone out, and while we were at Cobb Street, we also did an evaluation out at Gray Woods. And the plan, the initial plan, there's money appropriated for the replacement of the generator, and there was a little extra money put into that appropriation for any other issues that are identified to be immediate needs of the station. It'll probably follow, so we've been there, and it is pretty much a replica. I think they designed a station, and the two of them are carbon copies, just bigger pumps. This one has actually bigger pumps, but everything's the same. So it'll probably follow a similar path, get the generator swapped out, see how the wet well is, and then talk about doing the pumps. So like I said, we move forward with the evaluation, because we were out there for the Cobb Street one. That is the one, so I think you guys approved our contract for that work at the last meeting, and we're still waiting for a signed contract back for that work, to move forward with that. Another thing we talked about is ultimately it might make sense to combine, when we're ready to go to bid, if both projects are ready to go, it might make sense to do them as one project, to get one set of plans.
For the pumps.
For the pumps, and then a generator at Great Woods. It's something we can talk about, whether we want to do them as separate contracts, or if you want to put it together just as one bid process. You know, similar type work, but.
Pumps at Cobb Street, generator at Gray Woods.
Correct. So those are the pumps, that's the pump station work that's going on right now. You talked about the plans, you know, the master plan on the water side, the comp plan on the wastewater side. We are currently under the general services contract, looking to give you guys, looking back at the comp plan, which is 2016, I think, and providing like a memo update of where we're at and what's changed, and kind of updating the costs for the path going forward, so that you guys can look at where you want to go next. There's talk of, you know, the next phase would likely be continuing down West Main Street from where we left off at the Housing Authority. And there's been a lot of discussion about that. There's a lot of moving parts on that, in that it's an opportunity to
There's
get the rest of the
customers that want that to happen
schools.
too.
There's customers,
Yeah.
there's the middle school,
Middle school, yeah.
which recently got approval from DEP to come off of their treatment plan. So now it's
Okay.
under the local Board of Health's jurisdiction, just as a Title V system, but he gave it a 3-year approval with the understanding that there's a longer-term solution, because there is the ability.
Is that where we moved, where we ran the main?
Yes. So so the treatment plan at the middle school was put in place, and then going back in time, the water department replaced the water all the way up West Main Street. They took the old water main and slip lined it with a 4-inch pipe, with the intent of using that for sewer, you know, force main sewer, and then they did connect the high school and the Yale school through that force main back to the middle school treatment plant. Then the plant had some compliance issues. We built the West Main Street sewers, which fronted the high school and the Yale. Those are both now connected to the sewer that flows to, there's a pump station on the Wheaton campus that then pumps into the Mansfield Interceptor. So we took those, so that line that was pumping back to the middle school treatment plant is now not in use, and could be reversed if we do some work at the middle school, as well as that piece of West Main Street. We could bring some sewer to a station down there and pump it through that 4-inch line. We're limited, if we want to use that line, it's 4 inches. You know, we can't, so we're limited in terms of how much we can pump through there. But there have also been discussions, that is a low point on Main Street, West Main Street out there, where Valentine Tool has expressed interest in being part of a project,
Yep.
as well as Goat City across the street. So there could be some cost sharing, and again, one thing that will hopefully help get its support from the town is the schools, is being able to get the schools. And there's also an option in place to bring the Salmonese school, which is all the way down Route 123. There's a dry line, 4-inch slip-lined pipe along that whole length that could be used to pump them up to whatever solution.
That
is
goes from the
built there.
Solomons to the middle school?
Yeah, and it's not connected. Solomons is still on a septic system. They could have brought that to the treatment plant.
So
They
the
never
Solomons
did.
could go to that pipe to the middle school, and all of that with the middle school could
If
go
we
down
build
the
a
pipe
pump
to the thing.
station, either at the middle school or the Valentine property.
And that 4-inch
or
line that's
somewhere.
existing is plenty capacity for
Yeah.
just the schools, for sure.
That's what we have to look at, is how much, yes, definitely for the schools and a limited service area there.
Question is, can it also accommodate all the rest of the abutters?
So when you look at the
Or-
the comp plan was that there would be a pump station near there somewhere, but then in the future, when we serve, if and when you build out the rest of 123, that would flow through that system. So we might have to modify, once we use that 4-inch line, you might need to run a force. You won't be able to bring the rest of Main Street into that. You would have to come up with either replace that with a bigger force main or just run a parallel force main in the future. So that's kind of the crux of what we're coming up with now, based on
So
what's
the West Main
transpired.
Street line where Valentine Tool is, we're not currently doing anything on?
That's currently, it's abandoned, so it was,
No, are we
that's,
doing, are you into?
yes, so under the general services contract, we're gonna put together a memo that kind of summarizes, high level, what it looks like and what the options are and what the costs are.
Okay. So Valentine Tool came to us a couple of years ago already. They had a contamination issue in their septic system. And basically requested us to connect them to sewer. So it's an unusual thing, but there's a need.
They want it, yeah.
They want it, so we're trying to solve that and the middle school at the same time.
Okay. What do you want me to do next week?
It's hard for you to, there's a lot to take.
There is, I know.
Yeah.
At least we're doing something.
Sounds like you're doing a lot.
So I think that's everything. Just to circle back to the Elm Street, so like Tara was saying, originally, if you haven't noticed, Tara heads up the water side, and I head up the wastewater side. That hasn't been clear from the discussion. So that was, on the wastewater side, we ran with that project, with the grant and everything. So now the quarterly update is due, so we'll work with you. So we just need to get a quarterly update into MassWorks, and it's basically time to let them know that the town authorized the monies to replace the water main. And again, that water main improvement will facilitate eventual development of that property at the Reed and Barton. And that's what the grant is all about, housing, jobs and housing. So the hope is that they'll support
Reed
that.
Street, the Reed and Bowden building?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
So, we already talked about the.
Before you send that, when's that quarterly report due?
It's due this week. And it's pretty basic, it's just what have you done since the last quarter and the.
Yeah, and this is how much we've spent. Yeah,
So we haven't spent
We
anything.
haven't spent anything, so. They just
So-
need an update, the project's still active.
So the grant,
let's leave it at that for now.
that's it, it's just gonna be, since the last quarterly report, so the last one said we're gonna be at town meeting, and we'll find out if the town, third time's a charm. See if they support.
You wouldn't say
support
that's
a
why I
project.
got approved.
Yeah, I stayed as far away as I could, yeah. And, because the grant currently expires at the end of this current fiscal year. But they told us if we have an approved project and a contractor, or a clear path forward, we will be able to extend it for a
Okay.
year. So we'll be able to extend it for
So we're
another year.
anxious to spend that money.
And who are you talking to at MassWorks, do you know?
John Way is the person on this project, project manager for this one.
Thank you.
He's been very reasonable, very
Yeah.
good to deal with.
Good.
They want to use the money, they want the town to use it,
Yeah.
they don't want to take it back.
Right.
But it does
And we
have to
don't
meet
wanna
the
give it back.
criteria.
Okay,
So, I think that's it.
thank you. Both.
Thank you, Steve. I don't have anything unanticipated. Steve, you have anything?
Only to talk about the next two meetings. I believe our next scheduled meeting is on a Tuesday on February 10. That's the
That's what
scheduled
I'm
meeting.
Okay, I think I'm okay with that.
And then the March meeting, I have to request you to change it to Thursday, March 12th.
So March, we can officially do that at next meeting, but I'm
I
sure
just thought I'd
that's not,
forewarn you.
sure that's not gonna be a
I
problem.
can't be here on March 11th.
Thursday, 12.
March 10th?
No, March, I want to move to March 12th.
Right, I can't be
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Thursday,
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
Tuesday.
I can't be the 10th, but it has to be the 12th.
I don't have a problem with that as of yet.
But I just thought I'd give you an advance notice in case you have plans.
At least we're
Noted.
down one.
Noted. Justin, you have anything else before we
I don't, except.
wrap it up?
Thank you, and I look forward to helping out.
Okay.
So before we, is there anything that you heard that you want to pre-approve before we do anything moving forward? For a document or anything you want to see, or do you, or should we just submit to you everything that we're doing from now on? So you're CC'd on our correspondence.
I would appreciate being CC'd on all correspondence.
As far as our voting though, if he's gonna be at the meetings, he's gonna be here, so we
Yeah.
can
No, I
coordinate that on the
But
spot.
if, especially with Weston and Sampson, I would appreciate being CC'd on all correspondence with either the commission or with
So the peer
employees.
review is the next thing that's gonna go out. We'll have to circle back on that. It seems like both you and the town manager wanna be part of maybe another meeting with the developer to talk about, okay, this is all fine, but
Yes.
how do we get back to where we were 2 years ago,
Or at least
or somewhere in the.
somewhere in between.
So we, the water commissions are not privy to those meetings, so it's really, usually we dealt with, Frank normally deals with that, with Weston Sampson, and now you can be involved with that also.
And if you can, give me a week or two to kind of figure out
Oh, yeah.
how it's all gonna work, and I'll get back to you by next meeting as to going forward, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds great.
any further business?
No further business from my end.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye as well. Thank you, everybody.